Hi guys, and welcome back to CineClub, where we watch movies that have recently come out and I review them for you. And the movie that I saw this week was Selma, the movie about Martin Luther King Jr. and his struggle to secure equal voting rights during a very segregated time. To get the attention of the nation and President Lyndon Johnson, Dr. King organizes these epic marches from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965. It is a very impressive and key point in the civil rights movement, and that is what your movie is about. I can tell you right off the bat, I truly enjoyed this movie. I think it's very clever how they focus one very important moment of the civil rights movement, which is the Selma marches, instead of focusing on the whole thing, which could be a very long movie, but just by focusing on these marches, you get the complete feeling of what they went through, and it really showcases everything by just showing you this one moment in history. It shows you so well the intensity of the moment, the fear these people had, but yet the bravery they had to continue to march on and to face all the danger that they were facing. But because the movie is putting under the microscope a very particular event in a 2-hour-long movie, it might feel a little long in certain places. Now, I wouldn't mind that so much, but the movie really focuses on Martin Luther King and his interactions with President Lyndon Johnson. You also get a lot of Dr. King's wife, Coretta Scott King, and these are very much the three central characters, and that's not to say there are not a lot of other characters around. They are very surrounded by a lot of people. But at the same time, I don't feel like I get enough development from all of these characters. Even Oprah's character is around quite a lot, but I don't get a sense of who she is. I don't get a sense of how close she is to the main characters, how relevant she is even. And I feel that about a lot of different characters that show a lot of promise, but they don't focus enough on them. So to have a 2-hour-long movie focusing on 3 central characters and not really developing the rest, it might have a few moments where the pacing is slow and it just might be a little bit off. There are certain scenes that you feel it's important, the dialogue is very strong, but it just kind of dulls down a little bit. There's a lot of setup for the marches, there's a lot of preparation, and so the beginning of the movie might feel longer than it really is. And I think that would be my biggest complaint about the movie. There was just something a little strange about the pacing. However, that is not to say that the movie doesn't accurately show what it needs to show and that the acting was not amazing, because it was stupendous from every single person in this movie. David Oyelowo, who plays Martin Luther King Jr., is just brilliant in the role. It is such an intimidating task to try to imitate this man, his voice, the presence that he had, and he does it perfectly. The voice, which is so hard to do and in my opinion is what people remember most about Dr. King. He has that quivering tone to it every time. He's so powerful in the speeches. I mean, he just captivates you completely from the beginning. I am genuinely very upset that this man got snubbed for an Oscar nomination. I mean, the movie has been nominated for Best Picture, it has a few other nominations, but this man deserved at the very least a nomination as Best Actor, and he's not included, and that's a very sad thing. His performance is really up there. It's just excellent, and I also love that they didn't focus on making him a perfect man. They're very confident in showing you the flaws of Martin Luther King, the fact that his personal relationship with his wife was just not perfect, and in many ways I think that enhances who he was. It shows you that he was a man, he was a flawed man, but in the end I feel like that makes his victories a lot stronger and a lot more memorable. The female characters are also very great. Carmen Eyogo plays his wife, and she's constantly present. She has such strong wording and she has such a strong female presence. I absolutely loved her in this. Another thing I would love to emphasize about the movie is the music. It's not constantly there. The movie is quite silent in that aspect for a very long time, but it picks its moments perfectly. There's a lot of blues and gospel and some folk music around there, and they decide to play it in when there's moments of intensity or when the attacks are happening during the marches. And it just elevates it to another level. The juxtaposition of the music and what's actually happening just blends really well together, and it just improves and enhances the moment for you. And in the same subject, the sound editing and the production is just so great. There's a lot of violence in this movie, as it is to be expected, but just the sound of every blow and every punch and every slap, it just sounds so brutal and so loud, and it just leaves a strong impact on you, which is what I think they were going for. You really feel the intensity of this historic moment, and even though you know how it ends, and I was a little bit worried about that you know the end result, you might not care so much about the film, it's not true. You are so engaged. It really moves you. It really makes you feel. And that's something that not a lot of movies are doing nowadays. And that's the reason I actually go to the movies, because I want you to show me something that I'm familiar with in a different light. And I want you to show me something that I'm not fully aware of. And I think this movie does that. It's an important movie to watch, historically speaking, but it's also a very well-made, well-directed film that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So if I had to rate this movie, you guys, I would tell you that Selma is definitely worth watching in theaters. But guys, that's just my opinion. Tell me, what do you think about Selma? Whatever you thought about the movie, please let me know in the comments section down below. You can also tell me in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I will leave all that information at the very end of the video. But guys, that is everything for this episode of CineClub. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed talking to you about it. Don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up. That is always appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews and you want to see more movie talks. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on our next movie date. Bye!